I'm live 30 minutes earlier than normal just because I didn't realize it, but you guys in the US have just had the daylight savings, right? So Nicodemus was just mentioning in Discord that that he's waiting an extra hour, and I was kind of wanting to start an hour early, um just because I'd gone to the market, gotten everything, had lunch, and was an hour ahead kind of schedule. So here we are now. If you're watching this VOD, which I think 99% of the people that are going to hear these words are, um, then it doesn't really matter to you, does it? Maybe duration matters. Cool. All right. So let's get it going. I turned down the music again the other day because I was in. I think it. Oh, I hopped on a call. So let me turn that up, because I almost always have our sound playing in the background when I'm working, just because it's nice. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So what are we doing today? Well, I'll tell you. The Rogue's quest has mostly gone in. Quest 1 and 2 of like 3. Though, I mean, in theory, it's more than just 3. We're still doing the character work, as you can tell. It's still in progress. I don't think these guys are going to have face paint in the future. But that's still underway. I think it sounded like the character guys were saying that's going to take the next couple of weeks to get wrapped up. We're hoping to get it wrapped up before we do public playtests. Otherwise, we've got to do some, I don't know, branching, merging kind of shit. All right, so let's see. Let me bring up my document and kind of look at the current state of the quest. Real quick. Over here. Oh, you know what? You guys have probably been talking to me. I just started the stream. I don't even have Twitch open. I just looked over. I probably would have gone another like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Just assuming no one's even here yet. Let me actually open Twitch, for the love of God. I'm just if I hadn't looked over and saw, let me mute this really quick. If I hadn't looked over and saw Streamlabs, which is rare because it's usually buried behind a bunch of shit. Creator dashboard. If I hadn't looked over and seen it, I would have probably forgotten that I was even streaming. I would have just been talking to myself. Holy. Alright. Nicodemus. Vixana. Jimster. Maskask. Valeroth. Rev. Chinny. Mimit. Pattis. Okay, I'm here. I can see you now. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I was doing. I was just like, alright, I'm pushing a button. How bizarre. Alright. So now we're officially streaming as well. Welcome to the stream, Sean. Glad to have you. Thanks, Rev. I'm happy to be here. What are you guys doing today? I was in the zone. I was in this zone. I was just thinking about this quest stuff. So I need to run through the quests. Let me make a new rogue. I'm gonna warn you in advance. Most of the first chunk of the quests is just normal sort of delivery, welcome to Night Harbor, get a little bit of a feel for the faction.
2 years, love you, brother.
Love you too, Esam. What's going on, man? Thank you for 24 months. And for all the cool pictures of ice fishing and snow camping and breakfast. Yeah, so normal quest, but there will be some like mechanical spoilers that if you want to play the quests as a rogue and be surprised, then skip the stream, I guess. Skip the VOD, whatever. But I mean, it's just an example of stuff we're going to be doing a bunch of in the future, so it's not like it's, you know, and I don't know, you may look at it and you may not even think it's that big a deal. But hey, Justin Beard. But those of you that are like wanting to not have everything spoiled for you before you play, I'm just giving you the heads up. Guess I could have camped. One thing I will do is I'll bust out of here in about 30 minutes or something for just a couple minutes to make myself another coffee. How is the background noise volume? Can you hear the music and everything okay? Those of you watching on YouTube, it's too late. You don't get any input. All right. Conjoyo Jimbo said sounds fine. Thank you. Let's delete this guy. You're about to go get coffee as well. Is it the coffee you were mentioning in Discord, Justin? New character. Randomized appearance. Yeah, until the characters get until the characters get fixed. These are kind of fun. All right, this guy definitely looks like a rogue. Yes, you got free Starbucks. Got enough Starbucks points, man. When I lived in the Domain in Austin, which is just at the time it was just kind of like a mall in the middle of nowhere, upscale mall. They had apartments within it. Now it's huge. It's a sprawl. Ooh. Gnome, I didn't think about that. But I've been testing everything with a human. Ooh, but maybe I should try it with a gnome. That'll break stuff. Good. Anyway, when I lived in a Domain, I was spending something ridiculous because I worked there too. I worked a block away, lived there, never really left there, and I was going to Starbucks like 4 times a day. I was spending something like $200, $300 a month on Starbucks because I was also eating there. Man. Seeing some new faces on the model, Goblin's Touch or new people. We've it's Zukin and Goblin and VGFX are all working together to get stuff put together. Rogue. I'm gonna stick with human, I guess, for this, and then maybe I'll play around with the other ones just to see, because there's some like moving places kind of stuff going on. That didn't make any damn sense. So you've got to break into 2 places. I guess I'm beating around the bush. You got to break into 2 things as a rogue for your quest. And it'll be interesting to see if those mechanics break if I'm using a different character model. But for now, I just honestly need to run through and use this to force me to finish hooking things up on the quest side, if that makes sense. Did I just make an Inquisitor? Son of a bitch. Really? I did? Cypher, thank you for watching. Is it because I was clicking around? Yeah, because it didn't retain my choice when I clicked back from gnome to human, huh? It didn't. It didn't. Mr. Boogles, good morning. Justin said, spent $100 a month a few times. I lived across the street, literally from Starbucks, and living situations driving me insane. I'm gonna get away from that. That's how they get you. Is this really an Inquisitor? It is. Son of a crap. Thank you, Cypher. All right. Take a look. I've got database open. I just restarted my machine as usual before. Oh my. And then I kill my camp at 3 seconds. All right, this will definitely be a stream in which I get up and make myself some coffee. Midgard. How goes the memory making, Midgard? It's going. I think it's going well. Oh, we have a stress test to talk about. Yeah. Thank you for 31 months. So I forgot that was even this weekend. Seems like long ago already. So we had a friends and family stress test. If you are in our Discord, which you should be, Nick reposted a write-up that Ali did for it. We ended up... So before we have the public stress test, we just wanted to see like what would break if we could get a decent number of clients going with friends and family. Excuse me. And so we had 2 stress tests, but I had to get up at like 2:30 in the morning in order to be there. So, okay, it was Friday and Saturday, but for me it was Saturday and Sunday at 2:30 in the morning. That's me whining. No, it was fun. I woke up, we stress test for a couple hours. We turned off, we basically made it so that it was possible for people to easily multi-block and run multiple clients. So we wound up with 80 clients logged in. 81 clients, I think, was, or 82 was the top. With, you know, a decent number of people running around and stuff, as well as just having the clients in. And yeah, if you read Ali's write-up in Discord, it kind of goes through the things that we discovered, adjustments that we'll be making, and it's still looking fairly positive for public stress tests, though the question really becomes how many people do we wind up having for that. So. Nidosis said 12 boxing confirmed. Niet. We'll be putting those controls back in after this. Glinst said, hi, very interested to follow the progress. Solid work. Maybe hard to tell, but when do you think we'll be able to play test? So we're gonna try to get you in for just a very simple, or at least for you guys, expectations will be you just kind of, if you can log in and be in and do some real basic stuff, That's all we're looking for. We're not, looking for a lot of feedback or whatever. We're looking to do that end of month, early next month, maybe, and just kind of see what happens. The one thing that we want to stress to everyone, though, is that you guys need to, especially folks that are maybe new to the project, like just heard about it or whatever, and don't realize kind of what we're doing, and just being very open about how we're developing. Like this stream is just me working, for example, or talking about work that's been done or whatever. Anyways, in my long babbly way, I'm basically saying we'll have our first public stress test or public test soon, but people really need to sort of keep their expectations in check and realize that we're basically just showing a very in development build. Yep. Does that make sense? Was that a better summary? Hey, Ishiwatari, wie geht's dir? It's quiet. Oh, so quiet. I definitely need more coffee. All right. Now I'm actually a rogue this time. All right. What do I got? I got abilities. Yes. I got the ability to stab. Got the ability to stealth. I got the ability to evade. Like the wind, apparently. I got the ability to shoot with my bow. I got the ability to throw. That's tight. Century 7 said, very cool that you're even opening up to the public this early. It's been so great following the progress here. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, hopefully, I don't come off as, when I talk about lowering expectations or whatever, as negative, but I'll say, generally speaking, you guys have been just a really positive and supportive community. Everybody's very rad. But as you new folks trickle in, we don't know what to expect. Rev said, I really think stress testing the basics this early will help a lot in the long run. At a minimum, it'll give us a really nice bit of peace of mind. You know what I mean? Because if we know, if we continue to kind of test things and check as we go, then it's not like we're saving the mystery towards the end where we go, okay, great, we think we've got everything good to go, got our shit together, and then we start letting people in. We're like, oh my god, this foundational thing is not really working well. And then, you know what I mean? Like, we've got to go back and redo blah, blah, blah. So. Is the goal to see how many can be in one zone or one server? One zone. We're going to jam everybody probably into one zone for, like, if we do a 2-hour stress test, maybe we'll say, for the first 2 hours, stay in one zone, and then we'll kind of let everybody run around for a few minutes, and then we'll kill it or whatever. I don't know. We haven't talked in detail about what the schedule's going to be, but one zone's good for us, right? We want to make it as kind of tough on us as possible. We're less worried about one server, more about one zone. And like I said, if you want the technical details, Ali wrote up some very specific technical details, and that's been posted in Discord by Nick. All right. Here we go. If you spot typos, let me know. Let's see. Midgard said, if I can create a character and maybe run around for a few minutes, that's genuinely more stable and complex than some games I've played. It's not a bad start, right? Like, my concern would be if all of a sudden we have hundreds of people trying to get in, and just kind of thinking ahead to what are the points in the funnel where that might break, right? Like registering your account, initial download. I don't know what happens if we've got a couple hundred people trying to log in, and you know, there's validation happening at a rate that we've never had before, or you know, so then what happens when you're going through the login server, and then when you're creating characters and it's doing all the writing to the database potentially, what's that? And you know, like, so it'll be all those things. If we get everybody in and then there's some rubber banding and shit, we didn't have a single crash during the stress test over the weekend. We had some rubber banding and some like periodic hitching that we noticed and stuff. So yeah. But then once everybody's in, it'll be interesting because having 82 clients logged in, distributed across whatever number of people is one thing. But then when everybody's, you know, recording transactions and looting things, and that's saving to the DB, and, you know, dying and all of that stuff, which the 80, 81, 82 clients died plenty. Nick spawned a bunch of stuff that killed us repeatedly, so that was good as well. All right, so deliver this notes in the stand, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I'll start right here. I pretty sure I forgot to do something already, which was, excuse me, error 37. Is that an actual error? 37's my lucky number. I've even got a 37 tattooed on me. John, I don't know if you're in here earlier. If you're going to do this quest later, you may want to skip this stream. It will be spoilery, but yeah, I'm fairly certain I don't have these in here, so we'll add them to the database in a second. Okay, where do I find the rogues? Okay, we'll change that. Yeah, that's a little too specific. And this is one of those areas where I'm like, I know it's a flavor thing, but the decision I've made on this is that if you ask the guard where to find the rogue, that seems inappropriate. They're not very good at rogues if all the guards know where they're at. I'm making that call. So let me. John said, "K, I'll just mute the stream, not look at the screen, and make random weird comments. You won't be able to tell the difference from my normal chatting." Oh, that's BS. Your puns are very well timed. They're exquisitely placed. It's been a while since I screwed with this. Points of interest. All right, here we go. Points of interest. Point of interest. Rogues. Directions to the rogues. And then we'll have them. Guards should say, if you see them, let me know where to find them. Let me check my document. I think I actually have something similar to that. I thought I had something written down on that. Hold on, I just minimized the window that Twitch is in. Today's just not my day for Twitch. Hey Brex, what's going on, dude? John saw the line about the the ruby in the note, right? That's the kind of attitude these guys have. So they're very snarky and not necessarily the best people type guild. So one of the things that I need to finish with this is this will be the first faction that at least I put in that will have a branch, a decision point a little bit later, where the guild itself was actually written up by Hamad a while back, and I've been saving and saving and saving, implementing quests for these guys, like making the quests and implementing them, because I liked the tone of the guild. Sinistan, the guild leader, he's a very not good person, and the rogues in general, the lamplighters are not nice people. And hopefully the feel that will be conveyed as you're playing through is you'll quickly start to see there's very little honor amongst thieves kind of thing. And as you progress in it, I figured I wanted it to go as hardcore with the attitude of the characters that Ham had written up as possible, and that may not be for everybody. And so after the quests that I've got in, we'll see how in they are, but things should basically be implemented at this point. But I was doing like zero testing as I went just because I figured I'd do it on stream. And so it was a lot of writing and implementing. But basically I just wanted them to continue. I wanted to convey their feel as much as possible. And then for folks that want to be more playful and adventurous and kind of like the rapscallion kind of rogue, there'll be an opportunity for you to basically break from the Lamplighters and go into a different rogue faction. So that's that's the thought on that. So that's the last bit that I need to add in here, but let me catch up on chat. Remember reading that bards cutting hundreds could even put a massive pressure on zones and EQ, so even just NPCs doing stuff can be enough. Yeah, so what we've done in the past and what we did during the stress test as well is we aggro every NPC in the zone to go running around. So that's several hundred. I think, I don't have the list, but I mean, it's got to be upwards of 400, 500 NPCs already in Night Harbor. Too Tired to Care said there's always people that cannot control their expectations, especially once they get a specific image of how the game will be in their own head. Yeah, we'll be running into that more and more. Hardware network testing now will save headaches later. Yep, for sure. Midgard said, I think I've asked this before, but is there a place I can make a monetary contribution? Maybe I recall you mentioning you were fully funded. No, we're bootstrapping for now. We're definitely not fully funded. It's just out of pocket, but we've been able to maintain fairly low expenses. It's tax season, so I've got to go through and update books and stuff like that. And one of these days we'll probably, I've been saying this forever, somewhere on our site or whatever, we'll do like a very simple breakdown of expenses to date. So we spent at this point probably just over 40 grand over the last couple of years, mainly on things like, especially in the first year when we had no artists on the team, we were contracting art, paying for lawyers, bunch of stuff like that. And there are these, fees that pop up here and there, and then monthly services for the most part, and some contractor work. So, in part of just kind of being transparent and showing you guys what's up, at some point maybe I'll do a little pie chart or whatever that kind of breaks that down and helps you understand what we've been doing today. We've been able to avoid a ton of costs just because starting in year 2, as we grew the team, we got all the expertise that we need for the most part, and everybody's been pitching in their own time. So. Moving forward at some point, yeah, we'll need to address the money thing, and get to a point where people can actually have this be their job. But we're still, for the time being, focused on just building out the proof of concept and making sure that you guys realize that the game's here, the game works. You've probably even been in a public playtest or two. You may not agree with all of our decisions, but the one thing people can't say is that it's vaporware or it doesn't exist. It's there. We need to scale the content. At which point we will, we'll show, like, hey, here's what we're wanting to do to scale. Here's what we think we need. We don't have merch out yet. We've made merch. We've played around with merch. Some of us own merch. You'll see like Pattis and other folks wearing beanies and hats and sweatshirts and t-shirts and stuff. The thing with merch is, on one hand, it'd be kind of cool to get it out to you. On the other hand, the moment we start selling merch, now we've got income, which will be a little bit more of a bookkeeping hassle. And that income then will be, unfortunately, the profit margin on is going to be pretty low. Print on demand, blah, blah, blah. So the profit margin that we have, once we get done paying for all the shipping and the printing and all that other stuff that comes through the print on demand, is then also going to get hit with taxes and bookkeeping costs. So it's going to be sort of minimal in terms of its impact on our ability to move the project forward. And then the other thing too, is, and then as much as I know it'd just be kind of cool to be able to have you guys having shirts and prints and all sorts of other shit. There are going to be some headaches with that. There's customer service involved in selling stuff. And then the people that are buying stuff are going to be like, yo man, when's the game done? I bought like 5 t-shirts and now I want the game done tomorrow. So, but we'll just see how the year goes. Nicodemus said, as an alternative, give the player a page with the guild's can't ruin for safe house and the message, seek me near the harbor. When players could ask, then players could ask a guard about the harbor. They can ask about, so you'll find them in the City Illuminators Guild, which is located on the edge of the night market. The City Illuminators Guild serves as a front for his operation there. So you're able to ask him about City Illuminators Guild. So we can make sure that that's in there as well. So we'll come over here and we'll start doing some work. Do you have the text triggers highlighted? We don't, Top Frag Dad. We've discussed it back and forth, and maybe one day I'll yield, but my line so far has just been, hopefully we can make it fairly intuitive for you to figure out if you're paying attention, and then the impetus is on folks to pay attention. We've definitely gotten a lot of feedback in friends and family about sort of ease of understanding and, you know, the degree to which we should help people along or teach them as part of quests and stuff. I wrote up a big ass TED talk the other day on this topic in Friends and Family Discord. Maybe it was a good suggestion to potentially repost it over in our Discord. But essentially the long of, or what's the phrase, long and the short of it? The basic gist of my thoughts on this are that the newbie quests aren't meant to be a tutorial. They're not meant to explain your class to you. We'll have text when you're picking classes. We'll have manuals and shit on the website and everything. You know, there will be elements of you learning by nature of just mechanics that are involved in a quest. There'll be elements of you learning the city for some classes. If that's where, you know, if the class quests are sending you around, then, for example, if you're a rogue or if you're a bard, then you're going to get to learn a little bit more about the city than maybe somebody else is. May or may not have mud actions in it. And really the idea that I had was, rather than try to teach everybody, each person, everything via a series of quests, which we're not a quest-based game, we're not WoW, right? rather than try to do all of that for everybody within a series of quests, each quest will have different things that different people learn, and hopefully people share that information. It's a social game. Put it on the wiki. Ask questions in OOC, and maybe, you know, if you're a fighter that didn't get sent all over the place, then if you're a fighter that didn't get sent all over the place and you're trying to find some place, then maybe a bard will respond to you because they actually did go over to the harbor. Yeah, and so that was the other thing. We got some feedback from people in friends and family, like Jim and I just said, like basically people play games for different reasons. I usually never read the quests, and that's fine. But the thing that we can't do is try to make quests for people that don't quest. But what you could do is, if you don't read the quests, if you're not a questing type person, but you know how to use chat and you can't find something or you have a question, then ask in chat. And then the people that love reading this stuff will, you know, maybe help you out. All right, so rogues. We'll have him give the smartass response here. Rogues, yeah. If you find them, maybe let one of the guards know. Hey? Now, let's see, does he know Sinistan? Because Sinistan does have a legitimate day job. And the Lamplighters, because, or not the Lamplighters, the Illuminators Guild. Man, having this up on screen is so bright. It's just reflecting off my 5 head. Nicodemus said money taken in could be seen as a donation and the merch could be given away as promotional material. I think we would need a pretty clever accountant to pull that one off without eventually getting screwed by by the IRS. Like Voldemort. I almost don't want to say it out loud. Row with keys, directions. City Illuminators Guild. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to get merch as well. Oopsies. I really can't. I'm super looking forward to it. But we just need to make sure that we've got everything in order when we do it, so as not to get ourselves in trouble. Oops, my bad. Oops. New character, Giamon. Made Starbucks, beat the snow, got an iced blonde vanilla latte. Right on, Justin. Excuse me. Have to say it 3 times in the mirror and an auditor appears. Oof, spooky. Maybe let one of the guards know. Plural. It's so easy to do typo. City Illuminators Guild. Oh, I forgot to actually give it a location. Let's go find our location, why don't we? Okay, serious questions. Will there be dogs we can pet? I'm sure hoping so. Top frag dad. Can we pet dog to gain faction with dogs everywhere in the game? No, you gotta watch, Droop. You can't treat dogs as one monolithic group. There are factions within the dog faction. New mud command pet? Yes. Maybe that's or a moat. I think it'd be an emote. But it would kind of be a good command as well. Let's say right here is a decent location. Let's get the loc. Get the loc, yo. I've got a silly European keyboard, so I can't. There's no. Or is it because? Oh, it's because I'm typing in a weird language. What are you guys talking about? I'm trying to rearrange my windows over here. I need much more monitor. It's like the cats books. There's gangs between the cats, but instead of cats, it's dogs for the game. Books are called Warrior. Interesting. And they're books, or are they like graphic novels or something? Doesn't need to be that exact, I guess. -8. No. Cool. Right. So that should be good. Let's go back and talk to a guard. EU keyboards are the best. We have extra button for the pinky besides the shift, so useful for gaming. Mine's a Swedish keyboard. I just have shift. Or wait. Are you talking about the one that's got like what are they called? What are the greater than, less than symbols actually called? Oh, I just took a damn long cut. Yeah, we have those things. It's got that, it's got the pipe, it's got like a weird mini backslash. Reload zone. What if you could give a guard, maybe one that looks shady, a couple coins, and he tells you where to find people that can find things? Later on, we don't actually have that functionality yet. Same thing with bartenders. Oof. Editor performance is... Oh, that bird just freaked me out. I thought something was making noise in my apartment. Editor performance is not super great right now. Interesting. Wonder why not. Restarted my machine. Those of you that have not heard me give the disclaimer before, frame rate in the editor is no way indicative of the way the game actually looks when we play. When I load up the actual client, it's really nice and smooth. But I don't know why I ran all the way to this guard. I could have honestly, literally asked any guard. Maybe it's for consistency's sake. Where do I find the lamp lighter? Nope. Wrong one. City Illuminator. City Illuminators Guild can be found not too far to the southeast of here. Okay, great. Thank you. That's helpful. Sephiroth says, I've been taking developer/Unity classes and your team has been a big inspiration for it. Having a lot of fun. Thank you for saying that. You can let them know in Discord if you haven't. It's always a nice thing to hear. Are you going to put in Easter egg names like Kanos? Maybe sometimes. We're trying to avoid too much of that, you know, because we don't want people to, we don't want to ruin the fantasy for certain folks, but there's definitely there's some subtle stuff in there. And, you know, there are weird names where it's an Easter egg, but it'll never be discovered, where somebody's named something based on an actual theme that's in their lore that you may not know about, and it's a reference to some weird, like, you know, spiritist person from the 1920s with one letter in their name transposed. Yeah, in other words, you'll never really know, or their actual real, the meaning of their name and whatever language it's derived from is a little hint at something about them, that kind of thing. But please put in an Ashira named book. Why? What? UK Rads. I'm missing the reference because I'm really bad at spotting certain references. Right, that's in, let me... I realized my sort of coming back from the market thought was, I realized that I'm running really tight on the number of characters I'm allowed to use in each quest, and I don't think a single one of these quests actually has experience implemented in them. So I'm gonna have to rewrite some stuff to get them to work properly. Good job, me. Sinistan. 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 Sinistan can... normally be found in the City Illuminator Guild. Cool, and then we'll link to his to the actual NPC. Though he moves around on occasion. Rarely though. We'll have to deal with that case later. Load all. Sinistan. Oh, have I been spelling his name wrong everywhere? Yes, I have been. Let me double check that. Sinistan. I was like, why can't I find it? Sinistan? Let me actually look up the documentation on this guy. Did I spell it wrong here? Let's figure out where the error lies. Sinastin. It's spelled wrong all over the place. The Sheer Warrior's name, Rune and Good Boy. I don't think that would. Because you said, is that like a book? Did I actually say that? Somewhere there should be a Lord Sean. Oh no. Caljono said, from corpse runs to binding, this game features feels so much like a true EverQuest successor. When WoW launched, there were some features that stood out that EQ did not have, such as auction house, flight pass. Are there any features to you in Eminem that stand out as being different from classic EQ? Yeah, let me see, let me browse real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything else. I can answer this one quickly. Are you guys going to route people level up mining by questing or farming, exploring? Farming, exploring, not questing. So Caljono, a lot of what we're trying to do is just take things that we liked and you know, features or systems that we liked in the past and expand on them or give them a little bit more weight. So an example of that would be something like factions. Just really focusing on a lot more options with regards to factioning up in different places, and that giving you access to interesting NPCs or new content, or being able to base out of some place that for other folks is a dungeon. Interaction, you'll see in this quest series, if I can ever get to the part where we actually start to do some of that stuff, we've got a text-based interaction system that allows us to do a lot of fun stuff. So it pulls it more into the vibe of graphical mud for certain features. When you talk about flight paths or the Daok horse system, and I guess I say Daok, am I supposed to say DAOC? Anyways, anybody that thinks me saying Daok is weird instead of saying DAOC, I don't know. It's like scuba. So anyway, more boat paths. So it's kind of that mix of different things where the boats, we like the boats in EQ and being on a boat and traveling through areas and stuff in that way. Being able to jump off when you want and explore or get on at different spots and, you know, farm an island in Ocean of Tears and then hop over and get on the boat, or get boated up towards some city that maybe you don't belong in. So we want to shoot for boats that go along the rivers, ferries that cross certain rivers that you can't cross otherwise, boats that take you, for us here, out to different islands and up along the shore to different cities. And in our underworld that we call the deep regions, there'll be underground rivers and lakes and seas and stuff that you can take boats on as well. So yeah. As long as you can hop on a boat and fish, you'll be happy. Yeah, we had boats working for a little bit and then we broke them. Made an EQ emulator with a river raft system. Would have made so much sense in Classic. Yeah, I think so. Viking River Cruises, the game. Viking River Cruises, the game, is what you're hearing. Yeah. Oh, John. In my mind, what made EQ great was the loot, of course. But also that the world was very punishing. You can make it easier by learning and playing with others. Bit afraid that modern gamers may give up too early. That's okay. Do you know how many modern gamers there are? There's literally millions of you. There's hundreds of millions of people online each month now, right? Like something like Roblox has something, what, like 200,000, 250,000 monthly active users. We don't need all modern gamers to play our game. We just need a respectable fraction of people that are willing to not be quitters. That can, you know, absorb a bit of punishment and feel stronger for it. So, Tennyson, his name at least is spelled properly in game. I don't think it was spelled properly in the note, so let me check that. Let me update the note. I'm wondering how many times I've misspelled it in It's all sorts of spelled wrong in the item names. Wonder how many times I've misspelled it now in... Oh man, I'm just gonna have to come back and fix that shit at some point. In the actual quest text. Well, it looks like it was spelled right in the... Alright, so you know what? That's just gonna be some bugs that exist. I'll fix those later. It's not even worth wasting any more of your precious time. Oh my gosh. Really? You're gonna make me put a value in there? Come on, database. Come on, man. BMC said, I feel like we're overdue a resurgence of games that cater to more traditional level of PC gaming depth. Things like classic TLP servers are a good indication. Yep. And yeah, I agree. I like that. Traditional level of PC gaming depth. That is a nice phrase. All right, be safe. Leaving Starbucks, Justin Beard. All right, so let's go turn in our note now. 56 minutes in, and we're almost ready to actually turn in the newbie note. We are moving fast here. Thank you for doing these streams. This is the game I look forward to the most. Cal Jono, thank you for that. Be patient, though. Anybody that's telling us how much they're excited about the game today, you got to maintain it. A month from now, 6 months from now, don't be a quitter. Don't be like, God, this was the most exciting thing on my mind a month ago. Now I just want you to be finished, for the love of God. On the upside, it's not like you can't see the progress. Droop's having another kid soon. We should take our time. You do bonsai? Patience is your game? Interesting. So this guy will eventually be a dwarf. Not a gnome, but... Been watching Star Citizen for decades now. Had lots of practice. Okay, good. We're in good company. Here's a note. I'm not going to get experience. I got to fix this. But does the rest of it work? Yes. Welcome to my humble organization. The Lamplighters are honored to add such a... Lots of text. It'll go in your journal. Did I actually get a bag? I didn't get a bag. No, note. Did I get a note from him? Alright. So far, we've done the first step of the quest, and it doesn't work. Let's fix it. Like I said, I was saving all of this for the stream. Rogue. Not rib. Rogue. Now I kind of wish one of you were here to make the coffee for me. I gotta get up in a minute and make some coffee. Alright, so where are we going wrong here? Probably by calling this, that. It's a Freudian slip. Instead of rogue, it's Rob. You volunteer to be coffee making intern? How close are you to Bremen, Germany? He stayed hyped for Crowfall ever since the Kickstarter, which the game launched many years after that. Yeah, it was like 5 or 6, right? I almost ended up on that team, and by almost ended up on that team, I mean I worked with a lot of those guys when they were still at King's Isle, and I think I annoyed the shit out of Todd, so I was never going to end up on that team. But I did ask about them when they first started. Todd was never going to hire me. But I got lucky. I got lucky. Had I been hired to that team, I would not have come to Germany. I would not have my wonderful wife. Would not have had all the fun that I've had over the years in Germany and Sweden. All right. Let's try this again. Sinistan's list of names. Cool. Let's actually name this item properly, since that is not his damn name. I'm going to be so excited for the friends and family folks to find all the typos in this quest series. You're 15 minutes from JFK, LGA in Brooklyn, New York. Sure you could be there in 8 hours? You could if you have access to one of the old Concords and a parachute. Dude, there's gonna be so many misspellings of this guy's name everywhere. Got it in here as well. I'm over here editing items right now as we speak, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. Sinistan. So embarrassing. You should just embrace his name being wrong. As much as I would like to, I don't think any of you are really going to cut me that slack, are you? Here's another one. If I was fancy with the SQL like Nick, I'd be able to just write a script that would probably come through and find all of the misspellings and swap them or something. But you know what? I am a simple boy. I am a simple product of Alabama public school system. I'm just gonna make up for my inability to do fancy shit like that with elbow grease. Roll Tide. Tony, he's so rogue, he's disguising his name in a database. Brilliant. That's true. He's next level. When people are like, I'm sorry, but this is a typo? No, it's not. It's all part of the lore. Wait. He just gave me that. Okay. So what's on here? The following OS gifts. Customs Inspector Bakari, Mafid the Butcher, Dilshad, Abul Fazl, Narita, Thin Blade. Don't use this VOD as an actual Luslin kind of thing later. We'll figure out the actual pronunciations of this stuff as we go. Captain Eleanor and Guard Andrew. Destroy this note once you've memorized the name. Well, I'm going to keep it for a bit. I've got a list of names. Yes. Where do I find these people? Where is Bakari? What about Mafid? Not Kane sensitive, thank you. Ask a guard if they know Sinistan. Sinistan, I keep saying Stan. Sinistan. They answer no, but I know Sinistan, Satin Stan, Shaunistan, Shantius Shoddy. Damn, Shoddy. Shaunistan. If the game's a massive hit, then that will be the name of the country that I purchased. Dilshad. Right. Okay. So all these work. But the problem is, I think you're supposed to get some experience. Probably some faction. Let's just start with experience. Maybe the custom inspector should have a list of people that owe him gifts, bribes. Custom inspector, that's a whole that'll be a later quest. What would be a fun quest? That would be a fun quest where the NPC is obviously sending you to himself dressed up as another person. Midgard. If I don't forget that. That sounds like some gnomish behavior. Alright, so what was I doing? I was going to... NPC quest. You know what? I'll just make a note, or I don't need to make a note. I've been worrying about this all day. I'll just remember that I need to come in later and rewrite some of the text to buy myself some more characters so that I can actually fit in the experience and faction bumps in here. Esan said, we have an unincorporated town in Maine named after the owner of the land. That's honestly, all joking aside, if ever there were a fantasy of mine to have one to do one day, I'd love to purchase a small town somewhere. That'd be great. Start building some factories, make cool stuff. Like Sim City. I was scanning this text quickly, and when he said, I wish you the best of luck, I read that L as a different letter, and I was like, really? I'm dropping F-bombs in quests now? Okay, what in the world? I wonder how many places I made this error. Rogue, because I know I spotted it when I was working on stuff. Where is the Albrecht? So I don't see the error. If you ever buy a town, you come be an NPC in it, please. All right. John, you like the sounds of this quest in game or my quest to own a town? I think it would be cool to have a real castle. Governments are always looking for people to keep them up because they're so old. Yeah, it'd be very much the Downton Abbey vibe. I cannot wait to have the time to restart that entire series. Are these misnamed in the DB or what? Nope. I got the bag from him. What about the other things that he's supposed to give me? So let me make sure. Ah, I get it now. Did I wind up... I think I wound up... Did I rename these items back when I was actually going to put them in a different quest? Or a stage of the quest? Let's take a look, shall we? Yep, I bet that's what happened. What did I wind up naming them? Yep, okay. I see what's wrong now. I wonder how many GM tickets failed epic weapon quest turn-ins have generated over the years in EQ. Please don't let the wrong NPCs eat the turn-ins. They don't, Gemini. But I remember being in customer service when stuff like that was going on. People were so sad. I'll just rename them here. Oh my gosh. Let's go check something else then. Right after I do this. 5, 6. I can prevent a bug that's bound to happen in a second. Let's go to recipe component. Yep, of course. Of course. Oh no, but these should be the packages that we get back, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Ziggly said, oh, that was the best part of games like EQ. If you messed up, they made you suffer. You know, that is one bit of suffering that's kind of like, it's just a big customer service pain in the ass. We're okay with that little bit of suffering. We'll try to make you suffer in other ways, Ziggly. Reload zone. Got the note. Let's try this again. Let's see what happens here. Great. Then we'll put these in here. All right. Doesn't combine, does it? Good. Ziggly said, yeah, that's true. Just open tickets anyways. Yeah, I mean, it just winds up being a customer service nightmare. Super excited about watching this unfold though. Looking good so far. Thank you. All right, so now I got to deliver all these dang things. Oh. Those of you that are just tuning in, I say this every like hour or so of the stream because we do have new people come in. I'm currently working in the editor because it allows me to more easily make certain changes or move NPCs around or whatever. So if you notice the frame rate being kind of bleh, it's because of that. Those of you that may be new here and you're not in our Discord, hop in our Discord. And this VOD will be posted on YouTube later. Home safe just started snowing. Right on, Justin. I'm glad you're home safe. I wish you could have brought me a coffee, though. All right. Take a look at my selection. Wish would snow there. You haven't had shit this year. We really didn't have any until this last week, and then we had like 4 or 5 inches, and now it's all gone again. One of these is for you, buddy. Sealed note for you. Here you go. Enjoy it. He doesn't want it. Is it because it was renamed? It's because it was renamed, wasn't it? Because I just renamed it. Just seen that one coming. You're watching a cascade of bugs that I'm generating for myself just to keep you entertained. Oh, that was the even stupider bug than I realized. So, Rogue Note 1. Two. Three. I'm over here just cleaning up my crap. All right. Cascade of Bugs sounds like a good spell name. Droop, don't let us forget to tell Nick that that is an awesome spell name idea. And it's kind of meta. Okay, weird. What just happened? Nicodemus gave out 2 gift subs. Badass. Jimster, 40k, and P99 Frankenbeans. Congratulations. Thank you for your generosity. That puts you at 130 gift subs. You're a boss. All right. Dude, how much was I drinking while I implemented this? Rogue and UBB package 01. Okay. Let's figure out what went on with this rash of items. Okay. No, looks fine. No. Yeah. There's got to be like a missing... helps if I'm looking at the right quest, yes? Case sensitivity. That's always nice. Do you know why so many zones in EQ look like they needed more mobs? Was it a memory issue? Classic EQ, Wolfton59 asked. For some bigger zones, it may be that we were hitting the cap of entities that we could reasonably support early on. The network code and the server code got way more efficient over time, like way more efficient. I think I could have sworn it was Jeff Peterson that when he got on board, really improved performance. But then by the time those fixes were made, we weren't really taking a lot of time to go back and update some of that stuff with that in mind. The other thing is I think some of it was just population was what it was. Like, you just kind of go in, put in, it looks good enough, and move on. Have you had Monkey 47? It's a German gin, Sephiroth said. Yes, I have. Not too long ago, even. Last time I was at the Hamburg airport. But often just drink Gin Sul. Gin Sul is also from Hamburg. Let's try this again. Was it not the case sensitivity? Or did I just not click off the... Item... Robot, what's the best starter country for Europe? Don't think I'll ever leave Maine, but never say never. In terms of ease of kind of getting around and communication, stuff like that, probably Sweden? Okay, there we go. Cool. Alright, so... probably UK just because of the language, right? I don't really count UK as Europe anymore. And when people are like, hey, I want to go to Europe, I often just assume they don't mean the UK. I would say that the Swedes' English is probably more understandable than the Brits, and definitely more understandable than the Irish. I got in a cab in Dublin at the airport, and the guy just started talking to me, and I had to stop him after about, it was just like a 5-minute burst of talking. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And he was speaking English. You're already well acquainted with their heavy metal for Sweden? Yeah. Montreal is good practice for Europe. That's one of the French ones, right? Happy Pi Day. Oh. Yeah, Happy Pi Day. It is 314. My birthday is... what's up with this server error? Let me grab that and I'll throw that in my bucket. My birthday is in 5 days. Yeah, there's so many good Swedish bands. Everybody you know from the UK is depressed, but in a happy way. Ghost, best Swedish band. Ghost, pretty good. Well, the Nordic countries usually win the happiest country researches. Is that true? Interesting. I mean, I found Sweden to be just cozy. Cozy. People are rad. Their clothing is rad. The apartments are nice. Decent food selection. You have to get used to there being so many damn beautiful people everywhere. Like that's not a joke. That's not a stereotype. It's kind of weird, honestly. You can go into a convenience store and the people working there look like an H&M catalog. Bravas is the guy with a funny YouTube gaming channel. He's from Sweden. And the name sounds familiar. Here you go, Bakari. What? He actually worked? Well, that's nice. That's helpful. You know what? Since the timing on the item actually that you get back isn't really that noticeable, I think I may ask Ali if we can break a couple of things out of this into data. So for those of you that haven't seen, because this stream is educational, if you haven't seen how we set up our quests, it's like this very simple little pseudo script that we put in there. The table itself is really, our tools are really very simple, and it's meant to be that way just for efficiency and easy to kind of track run through the data, and in the long run it'll save us a lot of headaches with regards to finding bugs and all that stuff. Don't let this stream today fool you. It could be a lot worse. So anyways, essentially it's the NPC that the quest is assigned to. It gives it a unique index. We have the only once flag, which I don't think I've ever used. I should probably test that out and see. We have a prompt. So what is triggering the quest? And for us, a quest can either be a dialogue, so you don't get a reward, but you do get a response, or it's a quest, right? And there are a couple of things in this script. We've got a character limit of 1024, right? And honestly, these quests wind up being a lot wordier than traditionally I would write. Just because I've always been like, don't do too much on the tech side. People don't want to read that shit. And so, but the fact that we can do delays and emotes and stuff, make it so that it kind of feels worthwhile. Why the limit? Can it be raised? It can be raised but I will say, Droop, the main reason for the limit at the moment is to actually just constrain us to be a little bit more efficient. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back and add experience to each one of these quests, which for these shorter ones, it's no big deal because I'm not maxed out on characters. But on some of these quests where I am like basically at 998 characters, or where's another one where it's, these are all shorter ones, like Albrecht, I think, has one that is just where he's going through all of the items, right? And that's at 1016. It forces me then to go, do these words matter? Like, is it worthwhile to the reader to actually have to read this specific word even? And so kind of, if you read Stephen King's book on writing, he gets into that like process of going through when you're self-editing and stripping away every word that doesn't have an effect. Yeah, why use many words when few words do the trick? Exactly, right? And so that's the thinking for now, but I do think it's going to be worthwhile to have us break out 3 things probably into their own fields. And that's the way I'm used to quests being structured, which would be, let's look at this example. It's an older one that we're not using at the moment. And can be structured slightly different so it's more readable. So this was a placeholder quest for the original note. See, we're giving experience. That can just be a field. And we're giving items in return. That could be a field. And faction could probably also just be a field. And so then what we wind up not doing is this. Right? So these characters are all item names. And so that's where I got the bug earlier was this used to not be on Albrecht. This used to be as part of the original Siniston response. Like he did everything here and it was just too wordy. So I broke it into 2 interactions. One with Siniston and then he gives you the thing to go to Albrecht and then you encounter Albrecht for the first time and he does the rest of the stuff, right? So yeah. I talk about changes to database structure and Ali appears. Hello, Ali. Does it still let you code other text-based events like Perl in EQ emulator? You're responding to somebody above, I think, that Doja. Sefric said, I was actually wondering about using SQL database in a Unity game. Is there one you recommend? I'm familiar with PHP, MySQL, but it seems not so much security used. That's a good Ollie question. If he doesn't answer here, bug him in Discord. Hey, Mustang Spy. Yeah, everybody say hi to Ollie. Most people seem to hate long quest dialogues and delays anyways. Yeah. Fortunately, you're not going to get a ton of them. It's not like we're bombarding you with quests. So if you suffer through this, hopefully it makes your life a little bit richer for it. All right, so I am here. I'm going to go up through here. Can you copy paste the question? You don't have it on your feed? Here, I'll grab it real quick. Sefrock asks that. In Guild Wars 2, you can get a loot. You can actually play with your keyboard. Any plans to do something similar? I think if we've got the time later, I'm fairly certain we would like, and Ollie would enjoy programming, something that allows people to sit around and make music. But that's just one of those, like, end of the list type things. Fantasy Freak, it is not out. This is me working on it as we speak. If you are new here and you have not been to our website or not joined our Discord, you really should check that stuff out. So I'm currently, for those of you that came in later, I'm currently, oh, this is interesting. Just debugging some quest work that I did over the weekend. Uh-oh. That's an interesting sign. Let me look real quick and see if something wild happened. There's such an MMO drought right now. It's too bad nothing is releasing anytime soon. Yeah. Hopefully there'll be a new P99 server. Forgot to push one of the scenes. But Pattis did the elevation change. I was just gonna look real quick relative to Belmacht. That's... All right, let's see. Yeah, it looks like no. Yes, no. I'm trying to check right now for Pattis to see if everything moved. It doesn't look like it. These guys look like they moved though, so I'm wondering if it's over here that... No, this guy's touching the ground. I don't know what's up with these guys then. Maybe just this little piece? Everything else looks like it's still at the same elevation. Yeah, everything's at the same elevation. Okay. It's no big deal then. Evercraft is looking cool. It is. Lantern client's coming along nicely as well. Hopefully P99 picks up either Lantern or Attack P client. Ooh, let me see if I can... Did that work? Did it mute? Okay, Pattis. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I didn't want to blast you guys in your ears. Maybe this would be a better bar for her. It's a small bar. It's kind of a cool area for a bar. So I've got her in this other one, but I think I may move her here, but I'll have to rewrite the text a little bit, the description of where to find her. The folks over at Evercraft are super cool as well. Oh, it's up there. The round the corner bar. Well, that's what this one place is meant to be. It's meant to be a bar that the guards hit during shift changes. So that's a little spot, but it's kind of cool. I like that. So maybe we'll move her, and then I just need to remember to update the quest text, and plus it'll be a hell of a lot easier to find it. You know what? Let's go ahead and just move that right now. I'll just have to make a note to update the quest text. Do the guards hit the bar before or after the shift? Or yes. Yes, I think. These guards. Okay, so what we're going to do is... We're going to go over here. You can see the tools in action. I had picked this spot. But it's kind of out of the way, and honestly, it's probably better used as an apartment anyways. How do I explain that she's rolling these kegs of beer, or carrying these kegs of beer up and down that big ass ramp? Where were we? We're just here. So let's move her over here real quick. Beep, 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 boom. Zip. And then we'll move the off-duty guards as well. And then I just need to make a note to text for Captain's Bar. Cool. Slash say, sure is a long day when you're rolling these kegs of beer up this big ass ramps, which is where the guards drink. Yeah, bar name the side hustle, meaning guards duck in for a beer and then rush out before they are missed. So I had a name in mind. Side hustle's not bad though. My name's not better. I just had one in mind. I forget. I think it was going to be like the changing guard. For whatever reason, I pictured like the whatever arms in we had two different arms. Very British themed bars in Stockholm. Recruitment station. Oh yeah, what am I doing? From position, save. Okay, cool. I moved her here. I'll have to prop it out at some point. I need to be less nervous about. There's really not much horrible I could break, right, Pattis? I need to be a little less nervous about propping some stuff out as I go, just to make it evident what kind of content is in here until you make it even prettier. But Night Harbor's gotten so big and crazy that I've just been a little afraid to screw anything up. Hey, Dark Inside. Hey, Grumpy TV. So this weekend we cleaned the garage, Grumpy said. I not only found all of my EQ CDs from Classic to Plains, but I also found every single page from the MMO I designed back in 2001. Nice. Solid find. Burn the pop discs? How dare you? I don't think you know where you are. This depends on the scene and if Simon and I have changes that need to be pushed or not. Yeah, that's my other concern. Yeah, Grumpy, that's always fun when it happens, right? Fantasy Freaks of the expansion that ruined the game. Oh man, it's one of those guys. Okay. You're allowed to have an opinion, I guess. It doesn't have to be a good one or a well-informed one or one I agree with. But you're allowed to have it. Position, save. Oh. Free teleports everywhere. Totally great idea. Oh man, you should watch some of our older VODs. I think I've covered this probably about 30 times now. Rotate. From position. Yeah, at the time, I mean, we got a lot of shit for flagging. When flagging first went in, it was a bit rough to manage. Most people that are critical of it talk about the plane of knowledge, and they talk about the the pocketbooks and that destroying the druids and wizards, and it totally undermined druid and wizard teleports and traveling for every other expansion that at the time no one was actually playing. But yeah, so we usually have this part of the conversation where when we talk about it, it's like ruined the size of the world that nobody was actually exploring at the time. Could have been done differently. Could we have picked a different solution for the problems that were going on at the time? Probably. But given the life cycle of the game, it was one of those things where, and again, for those of you that heard this a million times, apologies. But given the fact that essentially we had new players coming in to classic zones at the time, and when we looked at data for weeks of activity in those zones, they're just empty. They're just always empty. So this idea that it's like, oh man, you ruined my wizard teleportation business. Maybe it's an anecdote that's true. I don't know. I haven't lived your life, but just based on the data at the time, it just wasn't a thing that was happening. By the time Planes of Power came around, you already had people distributed across Classic, Kunark, Velius, the Moon, right? Lucklin. And so player distribution, especially given that we didn't necessarily, I think the preferred servers are, hey, pick this one because of population or whatever. We were trying to funnel new players in that were still coming in into one of like, what, 50 servers or something like that? 30, 50? So we were trying to get people to actually come in, because when you're making new characters, most of the people that were making alts or whatever already knew optimal path. And so by the time they made an alt, they probably had access to somebody they knew to help them get to where they wanted to be. By then, the itemization and I think like the experience bonuses, like the zone zems in other areas, meant that you probably weren't going to stick around Classic very much, because those other things, the other zones existed, right? I could go do newbie quests and get like actual stats on items in Lucklin, that type of thing. So most people, if they made new players that weren't Bashir, new characters, were going to those newbie yards because they're just better. And then in terms of getting around Classic, yeah, it just wasn't happening. So the problem we were running into is if I made a dwarf and I wanted to play with my human friend, then they had to do the experience that all of us had to do. The problem was there was typically not an option to get a port somewhere, because most of the original cities were no longer being used at all. Like we were tracking data for weeks of usage and there'd be just 0 characters in there. So the idea was, how do we make the MMO feel like an MMO again? Like how do we actually make it so that within the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, hour of gameplay in this thing that people were just hearing about, right? Because most people didn't know what a massively multiplayer game was at the time. It was like, how do we get people to have that experience? And so the idea with Plane of Knowledge was to actually have one hub that every city was going through to create enough social friction for the game to even look remotely like an MMO. So that is the justification that gets brought up a bunch. I don't know if it's a great justification, but that's the one that I got for you. So that was the thinking at the time. And I don't think did Pock have a book for Charval? I know, blah, 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 John. Never experienced it personally, but Pop raid content is quite popular with a lot of players on P99. All the expansions that were brought up on the forum, Pop gets favorable mention. Yeah, I mean, overall, people have reflected on it fairly kindly. I think the folks that the folks that are more hardcore Classic, which again, my favorite era of the game is the first, the release in the first 2 expansions. So I'm right there with you in terms of nostalgia and enjoying it. But some of the stuff where it's like, oh, you know, it ruins teleportation. It's like, nah, not really. It didn't. Pop made it less of an MMO because it killed immersion and made the world much smaller. For whom? And I would say it maybe made it less of a virtual world. And I could see, you know, like essentially if, though I guess the main feature would be Plane of Knowledge books would be the thing that made it less of a world. I guess that would be the argument because the rest of it is just a continuation of the same shit that was there. Additional zones to kill stuff in. You're no longer circumventing the world. But no, not hypothetically though. Not hypothetically. Like in reality, did it do that? Not hypothetically. I think the disclaimer pop fixed a problem that shouldn't have existed. The new players probably missed previous conversation. Or new viewers. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the things that we talk about quite a bit with our game is maybe not adding an expansion every 6 months. Or, sorry, not adding a continent every 6 months to a year. Yeah, it instantly made EQ feel more gimmicky. Okay, fair enough. I mean, it's one of those areas where if that's your belief, then I think you're very entitled to it. It's cool. I don't mind. Kind of feels like auto dungeon queues and WoW, and I guess that's kind of the route where I was going as well with it, which is I could see the argument being made where we could have done a much better job of preserving the sense of it being a virtual world. And, you know, something like that is definitely a factor. Making it less of an MMO, I think, is kind of, it's not a valid point because Pop wound up doing a lot of stuff that almost every MMO since has emulated. And so I don't disagree with you that it would have been better for new players to be able to use wizards and druids like everybody before them did. But again, at the time that those books were added, that behavior was no longer happening. All the wizards and druids that could teleport you were off doing cool guy shit. They were somewhere else. They weren't there. And so the experience for because you're like if the argument is it made it less of a world, well, maybe unless you wanted your world to have people in it. And the thing that we were running into at the time was because the world kept growing and growing every expansion, and I could definitely see the argument of, you know, the impact of instancing. So like if you're going to argue about Eldon and stuff like that, I can definitely agree with those arguments. Making it so that people were distributed even more, you couldn't see them. But the general thing that came up with the Plane of Knowledge in the books was most lower level players coming into the game for the first time at that time that didn't have the experience to sort of understand how to find people. They're just coming into the world for the first time. They weren't seeing other players, so it wasn't much of a world. It was a really, you know, they were kind of having a subpar single player game experience. So now if we could go back, and we could do anything we wanted to as a team, and we had the knowledge then that we have today with regards to uh, well, all of it, right? Just we have that hindsight. It would have been a lot cooler to not continue to. You don't remember Jifei being dead until Pac killed it. Okay. Like I said, I can't argue with your anecdotal experience. That may be very true. I can just tell you what we're looking at in terms of data. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to shit on your opinion at all. Like you may have a very valid experience. I'm just saying before we made the decision, we just took data from the servers that were available and looked at it and went, hey, what about this to try to fix it? So if we could go back, and change things, somehow it would be cool to be able to make the argument that we shouldn't be continuing to grow the world. We should be making the world richer and richer and richer and doing more with the zones that we had and putting more content into places and having High Keep being taken over by a completely different faction at some point and all that kind of cool shit like that. But we needed to keep putting expansions on the shelves and an expansion of stuff just in, you know, like we couldn't box content in existing zones unless we're, I guess, redoing the zones. But then how do we, yeah, anyway, so it's like, the other thing that I would say is the idea that the teleporters ruined all the newbie zones would seem kind of weird, because I would believe that the ability for newbies to accumulate more quickly in a given zone would probably make a zone like Jifei more populated if everybody felt the Jifei's optimal path, which it kind of is if you hop onto like P99, right? It's like Jifei, run around, Orc Hill, Crushbone, Unrest. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, you may be right. All right, cool. Now I can turn in the item. I just need to rewrite that text. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to like be overly defensive about it or whatever. I've already spent those royalty checks. It's no longer a big part of my life. I think it helped low-level gameplay, but it was at the expense of the entire game. I don't know. That sounds a little dramatic. Need to fix alcohol at some point. Let me make a note, because it's not even drinkable, like water. Gemini said, honestly, when Pac came around, I was just happy I didn't have to bother Druids, Wizards for port. I even took the boats tons, but honestly, they were just boring after you did it a few times. John says I have to disagree on that. Fantasy, I went a lot more places I wouldn't have bothered if I had to get a port or run long time to get to it. What expansion was the beginning of the end for me? I worked on... I mean, the end for me was Omens. I stopped, like, with my guilds, I stopped raiding, but it was mainly just because my life was changing a fair bit. I stopped raiding probably in Lost Dungeons era. So I worked on Lucklin, Plains of Power, Lost Dungeons of Norath, the Legacy of Akesha before that, Omens of War, and when I was first getting on the team, I did some bug fixing and retroactive content for zones in like Bellius and Kunark. But as a player, I was kind of fried and done after I guess maybe we did some omens. I did some omens with them, but I don't think so. I was less done as a player and just more done in general. Do you still play MMOs in first person? Is that towards me, Backgasm? Yeah, it's funny. I started playing a lot more WoW. Let's be real. Or I started playing WoW. What do I do here? Hold on one sec. My note. Oh yeah, my note. Look into alcohol. Tape. Cool. BDC Retro said, your concerns are completely valid. Talking to Fantasy. We've talked about this at length in the past. This game isn't going to be designed like EQ was expansion-wise, so home cities will always be where players return rather than being abandoned. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thought being put into cities and into just environments like the existing world retaining its value as much as possible. So what else? Honk was a band-aid to a problem that was created starting with Kunark. Didn't know how else they could have done it though to make it better. They tried with the Nexus. The Nexus was annoying. I mean, if we just had the ability, you know, a few of us really just wanted to work on the existing game and not make expansions, just basically run a live game. So some of the stuff that we had done, I think I mentioned, like we've done when we did zone revamp in the past, we found those really enjoyable. And by zone revamp, I don't mean art revamp necessarily. So I tend to reference like redoing the content in Chardock. So it would have been nice to be able to upgrade the existing world or redo content in the existing world or run more events, kind of like Legacy of Akesha did. But we had a mandate to put boxes on the shelf. So NPC quest. Let's see what's going on with her. Let's compare this to what she actually said. I'll move this over to the other screen. What's your take on no-drop items? Playing on Thornblade, TLP, Mischief, loot rules, and it's been one of your favorite ways of playing EQ, especially as a Raider guild-style player. In our past discussions, we've stated that we want to try to keep them to a minimum. There's sometimes with, because we're not doing like quest flagging in this, we're doing actual sort of, you get an item from somebody, blah, blah, blah. So there are a number of like quest items where it just makes sense to have it be no drop. But even that, I guess we'll see as we go. Yeah, Nicodemus. Not necessarily zone expansion instead of... Oh, you mean what would we rather do? Yeah, go in and rewrite rather than just constantly add new zones. But I mean, I've got to give the team credit. The game still had 60,000 subscribers the last time we got data out of EG7. So good for them. Too Tired to Care said everything after... Oh, I don't even know that expansion. I thought we were still talking about Plane of Knowledge. Isn't this one of the biggest challenges for a game as levels increase? Do players want to redo older content that has been upgraded, or do they want new challenges in content? For me, it's two-edged sword. It's really sad to go through old zones with no one in them, but it's neat to see new areas. I think it can be a mix of both. So, Sklar, what if there are new zones and new content, but you don't have to go to a different continent to find it each time, right? And that's not to say that there won't be new locations to go to. But the question is, how much can we maintain the incorporation of the existing world with that new content that's being put out? So sometimes, for example, it may be a new dungeon that's opened in an area that's been around since launch. Sometimes it may be you go out to a new continent, but the new continent doesn't have all of the facilities that you need, right? Like, so rather than put another city, a full city that it becomes a new hub in the other continent, have the other continent just be the shattered continent of death, where you go there, you're on an expedition, you go out there and you kill shit and you gather loot and you go back to a city like Night Harbor for the quest turn-ins or to sell stuff or to... and depending on what we wind up doing, if we ever, if we're able to get to the point where the way you got to that new continent is through a ship that your guild actually invested in and built, and that's why you can go there and others can't, then you load up your ship, you come back, and we don't make it so that it's always about going to a new hub. It's about how do we continue to better integrate new content into the existing world. And so it'd be a mix of incorporating new zones into the old world with some zone revamps and with live events, right? And so world bosses, stuff like that. All right, I'm doing such a... Oh, we're only 2 hours in. I'm doing so poor, but I'm doing such a poor job of debugging this. Remaking zones for seasons, giving some feel of time changes would be neat. It's on our list. It's been part of our feature list since the beginning. It's funny. I would say here lately, over the last couple of months, Nick has brought it up pretty regularly as well. Of can't wait till we get to a new biome, just so we can actually show off season changes and get that playing with it. Too Tired to Care, is that a bad thing? I don't. Interesting. Yes and no depends on how much you like Korean grind till you die style of games. And that was in response to I like the idea of adding content to existing zones more than exploring new zones. There's something we said about familiarity, going back to an area you've been before, but seeing new NPCs, giving new quests has an appeal. To which the leap is, that sounds like a Korean grind till you die style of game. Okay. John said, this is why I wasn't worried about watching road quests. I've already forgotten to start. Yeah, right. You know how I roll. Times that 7, 8. Mamanogi was, and I'm not pronouncing it right. I don't think I ever have. Interesting concept. Overland, you had overland worlds which statically stay the same. Most of the content in the dungeons that are instanced under said areas. Yeah, I've never played. Bunny was always telling us about it, but I've never played. Unpopular zones should have a chance of becoming in-game content for a day, incentivize players' return. Unpopular zones, it'd be nice to analyze them and then make them worthwhile. I agree. Did she actually give me the item this time? The cities above would have quests that would lead you to those dungeons, scaled in difficulty and progression. I can picture it. Not what we're shooting for, but I can definitely picture it. Oh, okay. It looks like case sensitivity struck again. Let's do this one more time. And there we go. Finally. On to the next one. Ah. Sorry, I was reading chat while walking. That's not a good move. Oh, maybe I'll take a shortcut. Todd Makes Games. Hey, good to see you again. Glad you're able to catch the stream as well. Don't want to risk it. I don't think I do, actually. I don't think I want to be killed on my way to the next place. Just left the bar and walking into things. Blame it on reading chat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, John. There's a shortcut around here somewhere. That's not it. You know what? I'll go to... No, where is it? It's definitely around here. It's going to take people 5 years to find everything in here. I'm just... yeah, I'm going to cheat. By saying fly. You've got... Where was I trying to go? I was trying to get the... It sounds like he just left the bar. There's a shortcut. No, wait. Where is it? There's the passage that takes you all the way through down here. But I started realizing, Pattis, I think it takes you out right here. Yeah. In debugging this, I don't have to play it the right way. Dark Inside, are you just seeing the fancy buttons on the left now? Well, this guy's moved. It's the building next to the main arch entrance to the fort you were in. On the left or the right? Fancy Freak said, I like a grind where you're slowly and tactically fighting to the bottom of dungeon. Don't like sitting in one spot while monk chain pulls for 3 hours. We are very much a game that's about a monk chain pulling for 3 hours. I hate to break it to you. For some reason, your stream switched itself to 240p. No clue. That sounds like some Twitch stuff going on. All right. Well, that worked. Well, at least you're honest. Yeah, I mean, we're very honest on this end. Hopefully that counts for something. We're not trying to bullshit anybody. We're making a very specific game that we're interested in. Hey, I see Jack. Mascas said, yeah, that's the only part of M&M that doesn't 100% vibe with me either. Love dungeon crawling, not so much dungeon stalling. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And you may find that if there's an empty dungeon, then you can work your way through it, but it doesn't necessarily, if you're mainly just there for experience. But I don't know that it necessarily works well with our drop paradigm. Why not make the grind more interesting, though? What would be some ideas for that? Any plans for PvP server or anything like that? Yeah, I think it's inevitable that we do at least one of some sort. Nick said, in response to the above, you'll find some opportunities to crawl certain areas, but there will be a lot of camping. Devs all play monks confirmed? No, I'm actually the lazy ass cleric that likes to just sit there and watch a podcast while you monks pull mobs to me. Kinji said the opposite for me is I hate dungeon grind like WoW where you need to rush the whole dungeon, reset and do it again. Yeah. What do I got left in here? Oh, I just ran right by him. Or no. Almost did. Structure spawns and zones in a way that punish standing in one spot. I mean, it's doable. It's just not necessarily the. And it may even make for an interesting exception type dungeon, but it's not the general vibe that I would say I enjoy the most. Let me... see what's going on there. Okay. Missing that. So fix that bug. Cool. And the last one. And then we can see if the combine works. Only 2 hours and 21 minutes. The good thing though is I started early. Oh man, my frame rate in the editor today is hurt me. Can you just spawn the items into your inventory to test the final part of the quest? Or are the hidden flags being checked off? I could, but I want to check all of the pieces. So in order to get these items, I had to turn in items to NPCs that then responded to me. So I wanted to make sure all of those interactions were working. Does that make sense? Too tired to care? And then I need to... I've got a list of little things over on my other monitor that I need to do. You may notice none of these turn-ins are giving experience. They definitely need to. All right, last one. Can't wait to be able to modify the background color of my chat box. All right, so that worked. I really want to make some coffee. I've got an hour left on the stream. I feel like I deserve some coffee. Did something change? Why is this guy just walking through a wall now? Interesting. Let's take a look. Don't be a delay joy. Get that coffee. Let me look at this one thing and then I'll go get the water started. French press? No, it's nothing fancy. It's I was getting made fun of earlier about this. I drink instant. Why are you walking through a wall? Opens editor, editor dies. It's like none of your damn business, Mr. Lord. Instant coffee is for camping. Yep, I'm staying in practice. All right, so there is no clear reason as to why my dude was just walking through a wall. So instant coffee is at... What is it with you guys today? Okay, it's what is today? Tuesday? It's Tuesday, March 14th. It's not March 17th, so you're not drunk yet. What's going on today? Everybody's calling everything ass. People coming in here being cranky and talking about ass and game EQ is destroyed and all sorts of... What? You get drunk on Pi Day? Is that what it is? Are you guys drinking for Pi Day? Drinking and coming in here and blasting off your little pie holes? You're tired from daylight savings? Is that what it is? Eminem official cranky stream. Is that what it is? Is it daylight savings time that's got you guys being a little cranky? A little fussy? There's an issue with the nav mesh there. Just fix it. We'll be gone after your next push. Okay, cool. Thanks, Pattis. I noticed in the past, I thought like it was something I was going to follow up with Ollie on if I'd seen it again, because I thought I've seen some like go-to routes where NPCs were just offset and stuff like that. So, you guys, I love you to death, all of you. Let's stop talking about what killed EverQuest. You guys are killing my vibe. That's what's getting killed. Let's get some positivity. Also, you're doing it with so many words that I'm having trouble. He's being sarcastic. Oh, I don't know. I can't read sarcasm. You guys are all expressionless to me. Okay, Dad. I never mind being called Dad. I mean, I haven't seen your moms, but I'll just pretend. I'll pretend that you're all very good-looking people. Between my stock and your mom's, I'm sure you are all beautiful. All right, let me go start the coffee water. All good-looking people. If you're serious about that face chat with me, you'd learn different. Oh, okay. So maybe I should avoid that. I've just got this. To me, John, I just realized the names even match. I'll always picture you as looking kind of like John Ritter. Cutscenes are a complete waste of developer time. You're supposed to make your own story. Fantasy Freak, we have finally found something about our game that you're going to really like. Oops. Did I put in the... I don't think I did put in the quest where if I try to give him this, he's like, he's very disappointed in me. Let me... Nope. Let me add that because I've got it written out. Swanee, enjoy your meeting. Thank you for being here. You're 22, so that might actually be viable to call you dad, though. Yeah, actually. Yeah, pretty viable. My birthday is this weekend, and I will be 48. You're sad that your comment didn't make me chuckle. What was your comment? Okay, Veltmox said, honestly, I think Kunark ruined EverQuest. All my great level 50 spells became useless overnight. Completely unimmersed me from EverQuest, and I won't stand for this level cap raising in the future. In future MMOs, that truly could ever. It does. Okay, that does make me chuckle. I was just skimming before because there's so much text going on. I failed. I chuckled, Weltmacht. Tone and inflection are what are missing when reading books. That's why I love audiobooks. Oh, well, I just hear the voices in my head, Nicodemus. Beltmoth, thank you for 3 months. Was that the deciding factor? You're like, I don't know that I'm going to sub to this guy if he's not going to read my sarcastic comment. You require a lot of validation. Join the club. We should be friends. We'll just sit around and validate each other. Kinji Budo. I went too fast on it the first time. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. What made us choose Unity over Unreal? When the project first started, it was just the easiest thing for us to get up and running at the time. There were only 4 of us, and Ollie was dealing with all of the basically dealing with all the code, and it was just, we didn't have artists on the team yet. And so at the time we were only going to disappoint one of the 4 of us. Then we got artists, and oh my god, they won't stop about the Unreal. Just all the time. Unreal. We got Slack, our Slack is where we communicate behind the scenes, and we've got a channel that's just nothing but artists saying the word Unreal over and over again. It's weird. You open it up and it's just scrolling. Sounds unreal? It is. But that channel has amazing lighting. No, honestly, stop now and rewrite the whole game and then go to 4. Yeah, we saw the little lighting sample thing. It looked pretty cool. Yeah, just to reiterate, it was, at the time, it was the easiest way for us to get up and running, and I've been happy with it. I think there are definitely some things that we see that other engines have. We're like, oh, it'd be cool to have that or whatever. But I was just happy that we weren't writing our own engine from scratch, to be honest. Fantasy Freak says, so I'm basically bringing up one touchy subject after another. Yes, but hopefully that didn't sound touchy. That was just me being... A lot of this stuff, if you watch the Oops, wrong VODs. If you watch the older VODs. Though, if you're new and you haven't watched the first link, if you like EverQuest, you like EverQuest history, you can go to my Loving Robot YouTube channel, and there's like 60 hours worth of interviews where we tackle a lot of this stuff. Let's make the game at Unreal 2.5. Oh. Only if we can make it really look like a game that was made in Unreal 2.5. It would be so distinct. Pattis is like, gross. Alright, I'm going to bed. I'm getting cranky now because my dogs are bugging me left and right. Alright, too tired to care. We don't want you to get cranky. Sleep good. No, so anyway, I would say Fantasy Freak, some of the silliness and sort of response and stuff it's not meant to bust your balls or be mean to you or anything. It's just some of these topics, the folks that have been in here for a couple years now, we've hit on them over the years, and so I'm just being a little more playful in my answer on it. Or in some cases, oh geez, that's it. I'm done with this editor. Some cases more contrary, argumentative. Did I not just address that or no? Oh, I know what it is. I know. That's not the thing I was looking for. This is what we want. I'm not paying attention. I am just randomly changing things in the database. That's what I'm doing today. All right. Just making random changes. I'm gonna hop up in a second and get that coffee though. Darkest Side said, to be quite honest, I'm an Unreal dev and I hate Unreal Engine 5. I'll take Unreal 4 over it any day. One of the most hated engines I've found in my experience, and I'm not saying this is the case for you, I'm just saying in my experience, limited as it is, because again, you can't work at all the companies. I've only worked at a couple. In my experience, the most hated engine to work on is whatever engine you're currently working in. Hey, Hobgoblin. Can I pronounce that NPC's name for you? Only if you allow us to change the pronunciation later. It is Siniston Aspenleaf. Forge Light engine, let's use that. If you ask Ollie, he wants to just make an engine. Ask him. I was like, Ollie, never say that out loud. Like, will there be a zone called Crypto? It supports PlanetSide 2, so good enough for you. Fair enough. Where all the mobs drop non-fungible loot on the blockchain, of course, so market for goods with mathematical provenance to help with the confidence of us organic loot only non-dupe players can take advantage of. I know this game is intended to be retro, but can we have modern features? Weltmacht 9. Hey, Nimitz. Are you named after the ship? Non-fungible loot in M&M? Never. Yeah. Sort of, you're in the Navy? Fair enough then. More so the Admiral, which the ship is named after. That's what I was, because that's literally the name, right? Isn't it the SS Admiral Nimitz or something like that? Or is it just the SS Nimitz? All right. While this guy's talking, I'm gonna run and grab my coffee. Okay, what did I miss? The USS Nimitz was the aircraft carrier that went back in time to Final Countdown. I have not seen that movie in forever. What unannounced MMO FPS did I work on for a bit? I'm just curious. Nick said that was the first question he asked on his stream like 3 years ago. Yeah. Do we just become best friends? It sounds like you guys are made for each other. It was the PlanetSide engine. So we took the PlanetSide engine and we borrowed one of the maps from the BF 1942 Desert Combat mod and put it in there. We tweaked the lethality and just little parameters. Terrence Yee did most of that on the PlanetSide, just in the PlanetSide data, and we're basically making a mercenary game. So it's going to be like a near future mercenary PlanetSide 2 with but with more PvE elements in terms of like mobs in a map, kind of MOBA style, and some base building. And then they asked us if we could get it done in 11 months. We probably could have got it done on the content and design portion, at least started, but the programmers really hated the PlanetSide UI, and it was very heavy, and we were running into some other problems where it was like, do we really want to try to do this? And we were kind of on the fence, and then there was a lot of back and forth with upper management about the theme, and the executive producer at the time, because I was just the design lead, they wanted to make like, so the feedback we were getting from like Smed and others were that people didn't understand mercenaries and wouldn't believe that mercenaries would be fighting a modern war. And yeah, 11 months was basically is going to be a reskin with some features and tweaks, Fantasy Freak. But yeah, we kept getting pushback on the idea of it being a game about mercenaries because everybody was like, people don't understand mercenaries. Mercenaries, what? They understand the Cold War or some shit, or, you know, fighting Nazis. It's just like, oh man, we don't want to do that. Like, we had great concept art already. One of the people on the team, she's a trained vehicle. She went to school to actually draft cars and stuff, and so she was doing all of our stuff. We had like badass little birds designed with tons of, yeah, just the stuff you would see in a mercenary environment. SUVs with chain guns and so yeah, we, at the end of the day, there was enough sort of friction on the creative side, and then more and more that 11 months was getting burned up, and it was just like, all right, let's just not do it. It was just going to be a reskin of PlanetSide, Kenji. Kufu77 and Epicurious91, thank you for the follows. Kufu77, is that named after the hunting brand? Isn't that a hunting brand? Okay. Nicodemus, see ya. I will be here on Thursday. Himes12, thank you for the follow. Those of you that are new here, when we're not streaming, we are pretty active in our Discord. And a lot of questions may get answered quicker there just because everybody can kind of see it. Here's our website as well. And you probably want to be on our mailing list these days. It's worthwhile. And we post all of these VODs on our YouTube channel. So I think that's all of the public services announcements that I've been failing to do in previous streams. Himes12 said, never played EQ, was a huge vanilla WoW fan though, but always admired EQ and its creators. Super excited about this game and glad it's closer to EQ than current WoW. Well, thank you. Wait, are we going to have hireable mercs in M&M? Just having collection of things like mercs spent years collecting and grinding for. Hireable NPCs, nope. Not on the roster. Nick said Eminem is funding the true Eminem, mercenaries and machine guns. Eminem, and then how do we handle the G? Make it lowercase. So nope, not like Guild Wars 1. It's a silent G, my favorite G's. Time set 7 a.m. What's the playability like right now? Nimitz, and this isn't me trying to blow it off at all. If you scroll through our YouTube content, you can probably find a video that's got just like gameplay listed in the title, and you'll be able to see us playing in groups and stuff like that. Those of you that came in late over the weekend for friends and family, we ran a stress test, just kind of getting prepped for a public stress test that hopefully will be coming up. We wound up having, we switched off basically we allowed people to multi-box for the stress test. We had 82 clients running. It allowed us to identify some technical things that we want to improve. Nick reposted a nice, very technical post from Ali in the Discord. So again, hop in the Discord and you can find it there, and it'll get into what we were seeing there and some of what we were seeing in terms of like performance metrics and all of that stuff. So, yeah, on other streams, when I'm not slowly debugging and fixing a quest, then you'll probably see some gameplay here as well. And but the short answer is it's very playable. Oh, you mean like it's not just open for testing. We have friends and family tests going on in the background right now. That's been going on for since the end of last year. Been gathering a lot of feedback there. All right. The goal is to have some open play tests this year, and that way we can do stress testing and things like that in advance. You know, I mean, you can see we're very much still in development. But even while we're in development, we want to make sure that we're continuing to or not continuing to. While we're in development, we want to test as we go, just so we're not trying to save up all of those learnings till the end. Nick said, first public test should be in a few weeks. Yeah, we're still optimistic on that front. If anything changes, then it may take a couple weeks longer or whatever, but it should be in the next few weeks. Friends and family is the equivalent of alpha testing, or is it a different stage of development? Nalder Storm, it's while we're still in development, as opposed to, hey, we're getting near the end and we want to start gathering this data. We've been essentially just streaming since even before the game started. The game started as a series of discussions that, like, me and Nick and Ollie and others in chat were having. And so then we got together and we're like, hey, you want to hang out and make a game? And then we started making the game, but we've been showing the development of the game as we go, right? So, that's why you're seeing me run around in here now. Who will you be allowing in for public stress testing? Sklar, only nice people. So if you're a nice person, then you should be able to get in. Oh man, you're not nice. You can work on it. You got a couple weeks. You can build up the karma. All right, so oh, he's not there. We've got to find. We've actually got to find Stumpy because he moves around. If you exclude mean people, you have a stress test of like 9 people. Oh, that's not true. We've already got more than that in friends and family. Believe it or not, there's some nice people out there. Anyway, we're making a niche game. And again, those of you that are just tuning in, definitely if you've got questions, it never hurts to hit Discord and search. Like I said, we've been pretty active in there. Okay, and yes, we do have an FAQ on the website as well. Good point, Kinji. Now we're down to 3 people. Oh man. Oh well. We'll attract new people that are nice. There's Wallace. Your wife will help? She's nice? Cool. There we go. Now we're up to 4 people. Been wondering about the white texture on the buildings. Would a stone look default texture make it better from the start? Do you, or do you think you might miss making something a desired texture if it wasn't glaring white? Yeah, Pattis can speak to that more specifically. Those of you that haven't checked it out, if you join the Discord, you'll see when the rest of the team is streaming. Times 12. Did I thank you for the follow? I just noticed that up there. If you want, you can also find them here. And just follow them on Twitch. But Pattis, who is he and Simon are doing environment art. He can answer questions, but it's my understanding that it makes it easier to identify the placeholder stuff. That's still being worked on, etc. Okay. All right. So I've got to sneak into a building and kill somebody now. And I've got to... Yeah, I mean, I guess I could summon myself a torch. I could cheat. Do I have enough room? Yeah, I do. Oh, look, I've got a torch. I should be looking for Stumpy as well, since he moves around. I mean, I could cheat and find him, but I'd be curious if I can actually find him through normal gameplay. Game engine is Unity. You guys thought I was about to mess it up, huh? And as I was saying earlier, for people that are just getting here, if I were to try to hop out and just load our actual client, it runs a lot better. It looks really nice. But again, it's easier for me to fix stuff while I'm in editor. But he works for Unity. He's also working on his own game. All right. Pattis answered the question from earlier. The basic white grid texture helps with scale. It can also easily be colored if we want to define areas that will be a certain material later or just want more color. We'll eventually do a full texture pass, but the priority has been getting the zone geo finished first. There you go. Gray boxing? Yep. Gray boxing. Block out. Roughing it. What are the current thoughts on multi-boxing? Are y'all trying to stay away from that direction, or will it be an option for gameplay? I always mess this one up when it's actually, Nick, you've got a great response for this. If you're listening, do it, and then I'll copy paste that into my brain moving forward. Because I was about to give my other response, but noted some other games that use Unity ran into networking issues. For example, Pantheon created their own networking stack. Have you seen any of those issues? We set up our own networking stack early on and have redone it a couple of times. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Nick said, if there are enough people for multiple servers, like to have servers that allow boxing and servers that disallow boxing. Very concisely put. Isn't there a difference because Eminem uses zones in a seamless world? I'm sure there's some differences. associated with that, but I don't know if that's the bulk of the network problem. But again, that's a great Ollie question. Oh, my performance today in here. Something's up. I wonder if it's because I haven't grabbed latest in a bit. In there with those changes. That's here. I doubt it, but let me just do this really quick. Then again, I can't believe I haven't been kicked. I thought server had been dated. Let me see. Full origin. Give me 1 minute. I'm gonna grab latest. I'm gonna hop back in. That's quite a download. Oh, you didn't push the server, so it wouldn't kick you. Thank you. Okay, I was confused. I thought you did, and I was like, I'm shocked that I haven't been kicked. Velmach said, well, it's time to dial into one of my classic daily stand-ups, of which I have 4 to 5 of them, and they're like 30 minutes long, and no one stands up for, and it turns out into a full solutioning meeting 25% of the time, and it ruins my day. Well, I want you to enjoy that as much as you can. It's funny, you're like, people often be like, you guys are working on this part-time, but you seem so productive. Yep. We don't have 4 to 5 30-minute stand-ups a day. All right. When 60% of the gig is reporting work. Yeah. X% catching up on emails that are discussing the meetings that are going to take place. X% going to the meetings. X% reading the follow-up emails. And remaining percent work when not discussing the weekend, what was on TV last night, random question that you've answered 5 times before. Dwarf art is so dope. Very excited about the dwarves. Deep Dwarf looks super interesting from the concepts. Yeah, Goblin was pushing pretty hard when he first got on the team to ensure that we had something that felt like a construct for player types that that really kind of click with that feel. Wolfhausen. I may work to make Stumpy a little more common. And despite some of you allegedly having phones, still browsing through FAQ, and that one got a chuckle out of me. Yeah, sometimes I'm a smartass. We'll see how that works out for me. Where the hell did I put this guy? Like, he moves around and he's not very findable at the moment. Now that we need to find him, we may want to... Damn it. Only sometimes? Yeah, it's hard to tell because my delivery is so dry that... Maybe it's only sometimes. Maybe it's all the time. I don't know. Depends on... Stumpy's on the lamb. Stumpy! Damn you, Stumpy. Damn it. I'm probably forgetting some other places that I stuck them. Come on, Stumpy. What's his spawn percentage? And it's weird because I'm going to increase his spawn percentage because this is ridiculous. Dang it, Stumpy. There is no reason for that. We're going to invert these numbers. He's unique. And I probably made that percentage before I have them, because they're all on timers and they depop and then repop and all that stuff. Wolfhausen. Wolfhausen, are you an American that just really likes the sound of that name, or are you a German? Says, Heyo, been getting into all the M&M stuff past few days. 'Tis a neat looking project alongside Pantheon. Well, thank you. American with German heritage. Right on. I'm an American living in Germany. So that's why I asked. Those of you that have been new here today, I don't think I mentioned it. We've been redoing the player character models. A lot of work going into them, and so things are going to look a little off for probably the next couple of weeks, but we're really hoping to get that work wrapped up before we do a public stress test. Beer Fest. Yep. Wolfgang von Wolfhausen was a character. Yep. I wonder if Jasmine has seen that movie. Let me make a note of that really quick. Beer Fest. It's always fun showing my German wife depictions of Germans in movies. American movies. She loves it. Davidoo, thank you for 6 months. All right. Let's see. Do we have a... Goblin's been doing some new concepts. Got some... I'm scrolling through our art channel really quick because we had some... I was showing them on a previous stream. Some of what the characters will eventually look like. Dang it. We'll just go here. See more images. Well, actually, if you check the last update, update on the let's watch Stumpy wander while Sean's chatting. Hey, I got what I needed from him. It don't matter anymore. And it's all emotes with him because he can't talk because he had his tongue cut out. All right. So now I got these things as well. All right, let's go do a couple of these tasks and see if it works. And I think that'll basically, with the tasks done, that'll hit the end of where I'm at with this quest implementation, and I'll get more done. Hopefully we'll have this wrapped up and all goody good Thursday. All right, so I need to basically get into this building and kill somebody. Not there. Not there. They want to kill me. They're on the second floor, the quest said. So, I've got to find a way up there. Actually, I won't show you. I'll just cheat for now. Parkour, exactly. Watch, I'm going to parkour my way up. Did I die? Okay, just 1 damage. Alright, so this is that same building. I just realized I have done nothing on this test character yet, so I don't actually have any combat skills. Let me change this guy's name. Would be lowercase. Okay. And I was thinking about adding in when he dies that he yells for the guards. Ah. Oh shit, I forgot about running. Oh shit, I didn't even... Okay. Where the fuck did he just go? He's back. Okay, he's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. We're safe. We're safe. Don't go... Okay, good, he's back. Alright, we'll work on that a little bit. We'll work on that. With his dying breath, he was gonna say, help, help. Ship it. Yeah, we're good. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what's going on with that room. It's not our normal pathing. Alright. Oh shit. I didn't loot him, did I? That would have been dumb. Soulmort, first time seeing this. Check out our website, hit the FAQ, hop in our Discord, and if you want to skim through a bunch of like 300 VODs that we have from us working on it, that option exists as well. I will say we're definitely fans of EQ and a lot of the kind of first gen MMOs. QA brain activated. Is E supposed to be lowercase in Emissary? Yep, I just updated it. Good catch. As soon as I looked at it, I was like, yeah, that's not a title, is it? Okay, so I got that. Now let's go get this other thing. Kenji, it was nice chatting with you today. Maybe see you on Thursday. I'll be back at my usual time on Thursday. If you want to see if you want to get the overview of how the project started and our progress for the first 2 years, and this is to everybody, not just Soulmort. Excuse me. When you get to the YouTube page, the Monsters and Memories YouTube page, the landing video is our 2-year retrospective, and it shows you all the way from like the first DMs and week that we were like, let's make a game, all the way up through stuff that you guys, some of you that are newer may not have even seen other zones and stuff, because we're often in here just working on certain quests or whatever. So yeah, and sorry for folks that are like new here today. You're not seeing very much of the game. I'm just basically debugging a quest series that I worked on over the weekend. So I need to go up here. I was about to go to the wrong place. Actually, I don't know if I've legitimately walked up here. I'm going to have to find my way up here. Pattis, you tricked me. This feels like Freeport and Carnor's Castle had a baby. I like that example. There will definitely be elements of that within here, because it is an adventure zone as well as or proof of concept as starting city/city. All right. But I like that. We may have to use that in certain areas. So like the safe house that I was just in, the safe house I was just in is it's a combat area. Basically, it's one of the other factions, depending on who you align yourself with. One of the other factions will have a little safe house there that you can hit up and camp. All right, so this is where I'm supposed to be. Wolfhausen said, I enjoy watching the development process as it gives more appreciation and understanding. Oh, cool. All right, so if I look here, looks like you can throw the grappling hook from here to get into the window above. Who designed Sebulus anyways? That person deserves a medal. I believe that was Vu. I have an interview with him on my Loving Robot YouTube. He did, I could have sworn he did Sebulus. He did Unrest. He did, Chardock. He did he do Gawk? Enjoy watching dev process because it gets me, lets me heckle early and not release. Yeah, we appreciate it. Heckle now so that we don't have to feel it later. All right, so I'm gonna grab the grappling hook and oh, I need to update this. Did I update it to be window or is it still? I think it's edge. I need to update it. All right. Cool. I wanted to basically have you grapple all the way up here. Because it's cooler looking up here, but so I had it all set up so that you would actually hear I'll fly. I had it all set up that you actually come up here because it's just more epic feeling to be up here. Right? But there's a damn window right there. That's why I originally said, that's why I just used edge instead of throw the grappling hook at the window. Because it's like the, you know, the edge above, blah, blah, blah. But look how much more epic this is. Pattis, these windows are good, but maybe we'll pretend like, for now, we'll pretend they have bars on them. But then I got to go back and update all of these lokes. Because you can do it from basically any of the sides. I think it'll be worthwhile though. Isn't this a much better view? Oh yeah, and then there's the jump in. BMC said, love how much more use of height you guys have in your map design. Eco often felt a bit flat. Places like High Hold Pass missed such opportunity for some winding staircases. Yeah, but I mean, dude, it was fantastic at the time. It's just, looking back, it's like, now we know. Okay, let me turn fly off and see if I die of fall damage. I don't even have safe fall yet. All right, so now I'm in here, and because I got to steal this. Basically, there's a gym. So let's hit look again. A statue of Herodrel, the god of war, stands below you. The head of the statue is within reach. The ornately carved face depicts an aged veteran of many battles with an eye patch over one eye and a large faceted bloodstone in the socket of the other. Looks like you could pry the bloodstone free. Okay, so I'll hold my dagger. Pry eye. Boom. Oh, the priest below said, what was that noise? Who is up there? Locations like Kelthan made great use of height. Yeah, it's true. Maybe that's why like people remember Kelthan and KFC and stuff so much. So yeah, I was on the other side so you couldn't see it, but when I pry the gem loose, the priest hears something and he comes walking over here. What I was trying to do last night, but I ran into a little bit of a bug, was essentially in doing that, it would crater my faction with the priest. And so if I were to hop down in there and basically give him line of sight, then he would smash me. May play with that more. And I've got to be honest, I just remember now that I didn't put an escape in yet. So we actually just need to sneak out. Because in theory, you would just grappling hook yourself back out, right? Oops, my torch has run out of fuel. But I was thinking about having him activate guards. Ooh. Tony, I kind of want to hop in there and steal stuff as well. Alright, so... both of those quests are done, and then the third quest is actually... too high level for me, but it's a simple kill quest that piggybacks off of another drop that I know is already in. So we should be good there. Cool. So overall, tested the bulk of stuff. The only thing that's left is just to test these turn-ins. I can do that, but I've kind of wanted to spend the time today running through looking at that stuff. So what I can do now is maybe run around a little bit for those of you that are new. Don't worry, we don't have flying in the game for everybody. It's a GM cheat. So we'll fly around and look at some stuff for those of you that are new. So the naval yard here. Let's make me faster. There we go. Holy shit, I haven't seen this yet. What? I haven't seen this yet. Was this Simon? I thought Simon said he was going to be working on this, no? Nice. It looked like that guy all the way up until... Dude, I react like that all the time. Yeah, it's like, I thought Simon had said something about that, Pattis. Cool. It was just, I reacted to it so strongly because it reminded me of the concept. So another one of the things that I'll be doing sometime soon is just plopping in more doors, which will block entry into a number of these structures, just to reflect areas that could potentially be player housing. There's a quest star. As it holds the moon in its hand, a secret is revealed. So Todd, I think we could probably do that. So check this out. If we wanted to do something like that, so the way that player housing will be open, not instanced. That's why we've got so many additional structures and stuff in here. The city is essentially a mix of city, you know, so the usual utility, merchants, guilds, quest NPCs, etc. Static housing, non-instanced housing, and then combat spaces as well. And the combat spaces will also change over time. So depending on kind of the state of the world and what's going on with certain factions. This is a major hub, so we'll have boats or ships going up the river there to the north. So around here to the north, around here to the west, also up to the north. And then there's an underground harbor that takes you via the underground rivers to a different area as well. So those are the thoughts there. Some of the stuff that we've been doing that's a bit more restrictive that I don't think, and it'll take a while for people to potentially kind of see how these things play together. But we're making a number of decisions now so that we can test them out and see if it's going to play out. And if it doesn't work, then we can always do it like it's always been done. But a lot of these decisions are being done with the idea that big cities with a lot of utility, not all cities will be this big, trust me, but cities, and if you're out and traveling through zones, if there's an inn or there's a specific merchant or whatever, they retain their utility. So again, we're wanting to encourage people to come back to these social centers as much as possible. So the housing will be an element of that. The stuff that you can do with housing. So some players, honestly, they like to be merchants. And so there's a number of little things that we're putting in to sort of enable players to be better at being merchants. And we want that to be as active as possible. We don't want, auction house and bots and stuff like that. We like to encourage that old EC tunnel sort of active merchant selling, bartering sort of process. So we've got ideas on how to enable that, promote it, and then also encourage other players to work with players of that sort, the people that like to play that style of game. So yeah, there are a number of things, Broke, that Ollie's a huge fan of UO and Swig, and so there's going to be some stuff that we look at and see what we can pull from. But even just with like simple facilitation of something like oh, this didn't load in, but I've seen it. It exists. It's real. Simple facilitation of consignment or escrow of a sort between players, allowing them to not get ripped off by players that are working as merchants for them. I think can go a long way. We were talking earlier in the stream about linking new zones into older zones. So you'll find over time that there are a number of areas within here that don't be shocked if new dungeons are discovered later on that stem from areas within the city. It's a city that's built on the ruins of other civilizations, so. Oh, nice, Pattis. The farm areas are coming together. I will, if we're. Oh shit, I'm level 1. I should probably make myself invulnerable. And turn off aggro. Cool. Nice. Okay, I will start I'll start cleaning up the spawn volumes in here. Hidden cave as well? I can believe that. You're very good about hidden caves. Oh shit, and a road now. Look at us. We're coming up. I'm gonna have some grave robbers in a camp over here. Little grave robbers camp. Next to the cemetery. Oh, cool. Exciting. Nice. Those of you that haven't seen it before, Sage Side, the sort of academic hocus pocusy area. That's oddly specific. The district. If you want, if you wanted to be a grave robber, could you do that? I mean, I guess if we put it in a grave that you can rob, then nothing's stopping you. You roleplay the way you want to roleplay. We put in it's true. Speaking of, let's go there now. Nice segue. So our newbie yard where we had 82 clients over the weekend, that was nice. Grave robber train win? Probably as soon as I put them in. Some low level players can find it. Ooh, let's get the lighting right. There we go. That's moodier. Oh, trainer, not train. Jeez. It'd probably help if I actually read what you guys wrote. Oh shit. Oh shit. I forgot that I was owned. In Voln. For this last little bit, I probably should just logged in the other client. Make it a little bit smoother for you. But you get the idea. my gosh. Aviz, thank you for the follow. I didn't even realize it was out this weekend, Tadvik. Closed test this weekend. Next weekend is open test. Oh, cool. Okay. And then zone. We'll speed up a bit. Night Harbor at night. From the other side of the zone line, at least. Shiri camp. Oh, bandit camp's back there. And we've got a number of zones blocked out that we're rarely ever in these days. But it's going to be exciting to get Fallen Pass redone, and then that'll lead up into the Fallen Watch, and that'll be a really fun dungeon as well. Javier said this looks really cool. Love the look of everything. Well, thank you. That is the goal. Let's do time that. We'll cheat. Do you plan to have floating combat text if it doesn't have it already? Definitely not by default. Maybe provide the option for it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. Having a bunch of stuff in this area, cluttering things up that's not like base effects or the NPCs that you're fighting is not. Just personally speaking, not a huge fan of it. It'll be nice when we can do more in terms of manipulating our UI to. We haven't done anything. You're not a fan of staring at a chat window? Yep. I'm not a fan of, like, I don't eat a lot of What? Actually, is there a food that I'm not a fan of? I'm not a fan of lamb. You know what I mean? Not a fan of it. I'm sure there's probably some lamb. Ali says there's lamb if it's good lamb and it's cooked properly. It tastes fantastic. I cannot get into it. Eggplant objectively sucks. Sometimes I'm into it. Sometimes it can be done good. Had some really nice fried eggplant or eggplant parmesan. Would be good to see more blood, dismemberment, and wounds get worse as you attack. Visual indicators know how well you're doing. I don't know that we could do it well. Eggplant is really good if you throw it out and eat bacon. Alright. I can't argue with that. Alright, so we've got some other placeholder zones we could run through, but it'll be a lot easier just to point you back to the VODs. We've been in a number of them. As we continue to get content in and refine stuff, then we'll probably see some of those zones again. Let's see. Those of you that are not a part of the Discord, you should join. If you're not a part of the mailing list, I think we're at like 2,600 people. In the future, as we're doing like public stress tests and stuff like that, it probably wouldn't hurt if you were on the mailing list. We only send about 1 email a month, so it's not like we're going to spam you, and that's usually just a link to the monthly update. Trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else. I don't think I am. But Thursday, I'll have the rogue quest wrapped up, and we'll be moving on. I've got to start the last of the quests that are on my sort of to-do first pass of Enchanter. So I need to get to writing and then get to implementing on that one. And then it'll be a matter of taking all the friends and family information, like feedback and stuff, and then going back and readjusting quests and adding in those learnings. So nice 45-minute stand-up meeting. You enjoy it if you or are you just getting back from it? Either way, I will be back on Thursday. With daylight saving time, I guess we're offset by an hour until our time changes as well, or something like that. But just kind of keep an eye on Discord or maybe Twitch will tell you the appropriate time or whatever. But yeah, so I'll be back Thursday, probably, most likely. We'll have some new stuff, and yeah. Fantasy Freak, you're very welcome. It's good to meet you, even if we don't agree on certain things. BDC Retro. And one day you'll realize that Planes of Power was awesome. BDC Retro, see you. MMO Pug, see you, buddy. John, see you in Discord. Dark Inside, bye-bye. Zephrock, Chaz Solo, thanks for being here. See you. See you, Pattis. See you, Brex. It's cool to see you're still there. There he is. Good to meet you. Thanks for the follow. Again, Corthan. Later. Sadvik, bye-bye. Choclar, thank you very much. You have a good day. You too, Jimster. Best pop zone was innovation. Nice. I'm glad you like it. You should. The last interview on the interviews I did with EQ people was Paul Carrico. I was so excited to be able to finally get him on. It's a fairly recent one as well. He did Plane of Innovation. Paul Carrico is Friznik in game. Friznik the gnome. He's an awesome guy. So maybe check that one out as well. Brent, thank you very much. You have a good week as well. See you Thursday, maybe. Octowisp, thank you. Yeah, we're excited to get people in and see what happens. Maybe you guys will break stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But it's going to be fun. Beer Chug, see ya. Is that it for today? Probably is. Okay. All right. I'm going to push the button and I will see you guys on Thursday. Have an awesome one.